Hey everyone, it's Teddy back from Teddy's Movie Club. I've picked out a few films that I've watched over the past week, maybe 2 weeks, and I thought I'd give you an update and chat about them. So, this might be all over the place a little bit with DVDs, Blu-rays, and I don't think it's any 4Ks, but I'm going to start off with some of the DVDs. The first one up is Morgan Killer Doll, and it's got one of my favourite YouTubers in it, Haunted Hippie, which I actually thought she played the Killer Doll. Apparently she doesn't, but apparently it looks like her, but she even admitted it to herself in not sure if it was a YouTube video she did or like a Patreon video, which I'm a member of her Patreon. But she said, she even quoted that it looks like her. So, it's not a brilliant film, this. It's an okay watch. Basically, a group of friends, sort of disown one of their friends, and that she's a bit weird and cookie and all that, and she sort of like brings this miniature doll, and it ends up obviously, I believe, growing and killing all their friends off, and it's just a okay slasher. I do want to see what Haunted Hippie does in the future, because I'm gonna watch this one again, because maybe it will grow on me in the second time watch, but not too bad. Next up is another DVD. It's Shock Terror. Now, I got to admit, I was watching this and I got a phone call, and the phone call lasted quite a long time, so I need to watch this one again. But basically, a college student obviously graduates college, comes home to her mum. In the last year, her father has died, and her mum puts the house up for sale, and obviously doesn't tell her daughter until she comes home, and obviously she didn't want her to have to worry about it while she was still studying and doing exams and all that until she graduated. I don't know if they're taking like a boat trip or they're moving, but they are moving, but I don't know if they're moving in a boat, because obviously they go on the boat, but this is where I sort of, what's in the call. So the daughter falls overboard, and obviously a couple of other people fall overboard, a couple of guys that I believe were trying to rob them. Not 100% sure on that one, but yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this one again. But it's about how her mum realises she's missing on the ship. She gets every staff member to look for her, and I don't know how she discovers. Well, I don't know how she discovers that she's fallen overboard, and I don't know exactly where they are, and they're surrounded by a frenzy of sharks, and it's just like a typical shark film. Nothing special, nothing special that I could work out, because obviously, like I said, I was on the phone call. So typical, people in water with sharks, and they've got to be saved. So I can't give like a rating on this just yet, because obviously I need to rewatch it and actually pay attention and not get sidetracked by a phone call. So that's my quick review on it, even though it's probably not as good as, well, my review is not as good as it could be if I had paid attention properly. The next one up is another slasher film. It's sort of like a camp slasher, which I love these types of films, even if they're, totally bad. And this is Boneface. Hopefully you can see that. Basically, obviously, masked killer stalks campgrounds and kills soft teenagers, and we find out at the end the backstory, but it's just like, it's like the story gets told throughout each camp that the murders are happening, about this bone-faced character that just slashes kids up. I liked it. Well, slashers are my type of film. I really like them as a horror film. They're like one of my up there with, you know, with horror films. So this one is probably the best out of the other two that I watched. But if you're not really into camp slasher horror films, you know, maybe it's not for you. The next one up is a Blu-ray, and it's the new Anaconda film with Paul Rudd and Jack Black. Basically, a group of friends from childhood are fascinated by the film Anaconda, the original, obviously, and they grow up and they never quite grow out of, wanting to remake it. And of course, one of the friends has said they've got the rights to it, but they all find out halfway through the film he actually doesn't have the rights to it. And of course, like, crazy stuff happens. I mean, just they're being observed by other people who think they're after, what is it? Is it gold? But they're just wanting to recreate Anaconda. And of course, like, then they find out the actual snake is actually real. And obviously they've got they've got to free themselves from these people that are, hunting them because they think they're after the gold. I'm assuming it's gold. I can't remember exactly. I watched it a couple of weeks ago, so, my memory might be hazy. But it was like some sort of treasure. And obviously the film just gets, out of control and crazy, and like friendships are tested, and well, obviously if you've seen any Anaconda film, people die. That's not a spoiler, that's just natural. But it's a fun film. It's not brilliant, but I had fun with it either the same, I much prefer Jack Black in other roles, but, he was good in this. Obviously, I only really know Paul Rudd as, is it Ant-Man? Ant-Man and the Avengers? Yeah, so I think I've got the right character, because sometimes the names and characters get confused with me. So I've only really seen him in, like, Ant-Man, so. But it's a fun film. It's a fun to watch with a couple of mates. Friday night, pizza night sort of thing. The next Blu-ray up is the new Running Man film. I watched this with my dad because we wanted to go to see it at the cinema, but we never got a chance to. And of course, I recently watched the original with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that was good. I really enjoyed it. I think I did a review a couple of videos ago, and me and my dad watched this just the other day. This is fun. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but we had a blast. I started reading the book for my book club, a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago. And I got halfway through the book, and, well, I kind of didn't finish it in time, so I never finished it. So, but the book and this film follow each other quite a lot that I read up to. So this is a fun, entertaining popcorn film, good fun. I don't get the hate. I found it hilariously entertaining. It was tense in some scenes, especially like, near the end. And, well, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't watched it, but please watch it. I found this one more fun than the original, but both are great in my view. So now I'm gonna, now the next two, one's the DVD and the other one's a Blu-ray. I've borrowed these off my dad. I'm gonna be picking them both up when I get paid, in a couple of weeks. But I think I'm gonna start with the DVD because I want to end on, well, I say a lighter note, but you know what I mean in a minute. I watched Schindler's List for the first time. So if I said that wrong, but I find essays and stuff hard. So Schindler's List. Oh boy, this is a 3-hour film. I watched it, what was it, yesterday. The 3 hours flew by. I was hooked from start to finish. This is an awesome film. Not in like a sort of, I can't, sort of like, not in like the time of Running Man where, it's a fun film. But this is a hard-hitting sort of drama based on World War II, the Jews, and, well, the German army. I'm not going to say the what they were, because I don't know if that will get flagged up. But this is about a German officer called Oskar Schindler. I think his surname was Oscar. And what he did in World War II to save many Jews. And it's just incredible. He obviously the German army knew what he was doing to a slight degree. The fact that he was, even seen kissing a Jewish female, which I think probably could have landed him in seriously hot water back then. But it's based on a true story, and getting near the end, I did shed tears. I had chills throughout the film. It's not one that you're going to put on, very often. But I really enjoyed this film. It gave me chills. I shedded tears. Sorry. It got me emotional, and I've read a couple of books on not on Schindler's List. I haven't read the book yet. But I've read sort of like The Tattooist of Auschwitz, and that's a good book. And I've read what is it? The Escape Artist. Both on audio. I think they're both on Audible if you have Audible and you can't read print books. So, but this was a fantastic film. I would like to own it in the future. Like I said, in a couple of weeks. So I'm just remembering how I watched it, and I'm getting chills and goosebumps just, thinking about all what they suffered, not just people of faith, but disabled people. I wouldn't have lasted, because obviously me being disabled, and, I wouldn't have survived if I was in one of those camps. It really makes you think. We think we're strong now. They had to be seriously strong, just to survive each and every day. And to be treated not like a human. You were nothing to them. But this guy, Oskar Schindler, the fact that even when the German army lost, the people that he saved respected him. Well, that's what this film indicates. They gave him a gift before he had to basically flee for his life. He didn't end up making it, I'm afraid. It was an emotional roller coaster. So, thank you, Dad, for letting me borrow this. I'm glad I watched it. Sorry, I know that sort of turned dark, but I just just getting chills again. And the next one and last one is a Blu-ray. Obviously, another Dad DVD that I've borrowed. I will be picking this up because it's a bloody good film. This is Shelter. What's his name? By Jason Statham. He plays a typical assassin on the run, and obviously he lives on the island around Scotland in a lighthouse, because obviously he's had to hide his identity for the last 10 years because he was set up to do a job, and basically he saved the person he was supposed to unalive, shall we say, and he disobeyed orders in order to save this person, because obviously the person he was sent to unalive helped him and their team. And basically he's getting supplies by this teenager and her uncle. They're like having a rowing boat, and they're coming across with supplies, basically dog food and, you know, bottles of vodka. And she gives him a present one day. I don't know if it's his birthday or the fact that she just wants to be generous. And, you know, she basically says, well, why aren't you thankful for the gift? You know, why don't you meet us like down at the coast? And, you know, why do you hide up at your lighthouse and not speak to us? And of course, one day where, you know, the weather's awful, the sea is really rough, they've just come to, you know, give him some supplies. And of course this dog senses something's wrong after they've gone, and basically the girl in the rowing boat, her boat capsizes, and her uncle's boat also capsizes, because like she goes from like his boat to a rowing boat, and the uncle doesn't end up making it. The dog has alerted Jason Statham's character to this situation. He manages to save the teenage girl, and basically she's injured her ankle, and he takes care of her, and she's trying to get back to like the mainland. And because she's injured, she wants to go, but he's trying to take care of her. And of course, like, you know, she's only got one set of clothes, so he goes like to the mainland when it's a bit calmer in the sea and buys her stuff. May not necessarily know what she's into, but, you know, she's still thankful for it. But it's just the fact that Jason Statham's character gets literally caught by like I don't know if it's a FaceTime call or like a YouTube video or TikTok video, and he's flagged up on like a database. And of course then people come after him, and of course like he's got to protect the girl and dispatch all these other guys that are coming after him because of what he did 10 years ago. And it's a very entertaining film. I haven't seen too much of Jason Statham's films, but this and The Beekeeper I loved, but this has to be the best that I've watched. I do intend of getting what's the other film he just done recently? Working Man or something like that. But I'm gonna have to import that from the US, because we don't have a copy of that over here in the UK. But this is one hell of an entertainment film. Loads of, you know, action, unaliving, you know, and the ending is really good. So I'm not going to spoil the ending, but, you know, it's worth watching. So that's all that I've seen in the last few weeks. So sorry it's not a ton of films, but hopefully next time there'll be some more. I wanted to keep it sort of small, so I could say a bit more about the films. I mean, I might not have gotten everything right, but and there's a couple I need to rewatch. But this was an entertaining watch pile. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you to all my new subscribers. It's much appreciated. Thank you for just taking the time to watch my stuff, you know. I know sometimes I can get a bit awkward and a bit chatty, and just thank you. Thank you for putting up for me. Anyway, have a good rest of your weekend, everyone. I take care. See you all soon. Bye.